Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by The Lines and Play Picks, coming to you from Oakland, California. As always, Josh Lander, joined by my counterpart on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer. Nate's got another great article with a very full slate for y'all on Friday tonight. A bunch of games to look at, DFS, value everywhere. So, Nate, let's just jump into the slate tonight for the 22nd.
Yes, sir. We have Bulls plus 3.5 at Hornets. We have Rockets plus 4 at Pistons. Christian Wood is out for Houston. Magic plus 3 at Pacers. The Nets still minus 10 at Cavs after losing the first leg of that matchup. Celtics plus 5 at Sixers. No Jason Tatum yet. Heat plus 2 at Raptors. Jimmy Butler still out. Hawks minus 5 at Wolves. No Karl Anthony Towns. Mavs minus 3 at Spurs. Nuggets plus 1 at Suns. Thunder plus 13 at Clippers. And then finally, your New York Knicks plus 4 at the Kings. So, Josh, how you betting this huge slate?
Yeah, a lot to look at here. I'll go ahead and start with Dallas, San Antonio. That jumped out at me a little bit, mostly because, the Spurs, they're super streaky. They have been, and they continue to be. If you look at their recent games, it's a big change in their last six rather. They're shooting 26% from three. There's some ugly percentages in there, including 12% against the Warriors, where they got blown out the other night. And then you've got the previous 6 games they were shooting 41%. And I think that their trend of not being able to put the ball in the basket is going to continue against a Dallas team that is 6th in the league in defensive rating, and they're actually second best in guarding the three in terms of their opponent 3-point percentage. So that combined with Luka and his history against the Spurs, he's somewhat owned them, to be honest. Especially last year, they won 3 out of 4. The Mavs did, and Luka put up huge numbers, averaging around 32, 10.5, 9.5. He was about a triple-double in all 4 games. So, I'm looking at him, potential overs, 47.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And I like the Mavs minus 2.5 there.
Yeah, I agree, mostly because the Spurs' interior defense is just tissue soft. Poor LaMarcus Aldridge, destined to get switched out onto guards and embarrassed over and over when he's on the court. And Porzingis looks completely healthy. I mean, he just dominated the Pacers because they were missing Miles Turner, and the Spurs have no Miles Turner to speak of. I guess it's Jakob Poeltl, but Porzingis could abuse either of those guys on the perimeter or down low, and I think he's the X factor for the Mavs tonight.
I do want to Jakob Poeltl. I just got a comment. He's been putting up decent numbers. I've been watching some of those Spurs games, putting up really, really great hustle stats. And if he gets some more minutes, he might be somebody to keep an eye on.
Yeah, shout out Jakob Poeltl. So the Raptors and Heat playing a rematch on Friday after the Heat took that first matchup 111-102. Key injuries to watch here is Tyler Hero did practice yesterday. He's missed 3 games with the neck spasms. So he might be able to return tonight. If he does, you have to love the Heat, especially since Pascal Siakam didn't practice for the Raptors yesterday. Either way, I think the Heat love this matchup. The Raptors have been finding success by leaning on their skinny forwards, right? Pascal and Chris Boucher. And neither of those guys are having any success against Bam. The Heat are the best team in the league in terms of points per game in the paint allowed. They held the Raptors to just 28 paint points last time out. Boucher was a non-factor. I really like the Heat as underdogs here. For some reason, they're being listed as road dogs when this game's in Tampa, and they're a Florida team. So I think you're getting great value there. Miami went 27-5 at home last year. Take that what you will, and roll with Miami.
Yeah. No, I'm with it. I am still weary of those home those back-to-back games that we have because of this condensed schedule. But in recent games, it's actually worked out. A couple of teams have proven that, once they have the measure routine, they stick with it. So I'm fine with that Miami pick. I'm going to move us on, though, to the Pacers and Magic. The Magic are putrid on offense. They've been very, very, very bad. Recently against, especially this year, against good teams. So if you look at who they beat up on at the beginning of the season, those opponents had a combined record of 35-54 at this point, and the teams that they play above 500, bad record, right? The teams that they lose to, just they're the good teams. And I think Indiana, what you're going to see in terms of the matchup, Miles Turner will be missed. I think Vucevic is going to go off as he's been doing, but especially when you have teams without anybody in the middle to clog it up. But other than that, the only other person I trust on that team right now is Fournier coming back from an injury. I know you might have something to say about him, but I'm going to stick with Indiana at home, especially after getting embarrassed like that as they did the other day against the Mavs.
Yeah, I like that. This Pacers team has to right the ship somehow, and they have two solid leaders still in Brogdon and Sabonis. I think Sabonis can do a decent job covering Vucevic. And yeah, the Magic, I was having a hard time figuring out who to rank dead last in our latest power rankings on the lines. Magic edged the Wolves, but basically only because of that miraculous Cole Anthony buzzer beater, because they almost lost head-to-head to the Wolves. So they might be the worst team in the NBA right now. Let's pray for Vooch, pray for a trade deadline move for that guy. And moving to the team that is ranked dead last in our power ratings, that is Minnesota. Without Karl Anthony Towns, they really don't have much of a chance against any solid team. And the Hawks are turning things around because Trae Young is healthy now, and Clint Capella obviously rounding into form after that 25-25 game. I think you have to like Atlanta at just a 4.5-point spread. The Wolves are 29th in points per game in the paint allowed and assists per game in allowed. So that really shows you that Trae Young is going to have his bread and butter tonight with two pick and roll partners, Capella and John Collins. Trae averages 29.4 points, 10.8 assists, and shoots 45% from three in 5 meetings with Minnesota. So take a look at him in DFS for sure. And let's wait to see what his props are tonight. If they're appealing, absolutely pounce on those. And the Wolves just dead last in offensive rating the last week. They're just giving a ton of rookies run, and they play hard on defense, but I don't think they're going to be able to keep pace with a pretty talented Hawks team.
Agreed. And I also look at what Atlanta has done to shore up their defense and actually put some emphasis on that this year. Not just obviously play that turnstile defense that we saw from them last year, and finding ways to cover up Trae's inefficiencies on defense, to be honest. So, they're rounding out into a legitimate contender. I'm not sure why Vegas still seems to be allowing Minnesota to receive spreads this small, even single digits. And there still seems to be some value to find on the Hawks, as they haven't been their stock hasn't seemed to be boosted by the public. And same goes for Orlando, like I was saying in the last game. So I'm not sure why we're still seeing those small spreads there. Couple quick hits for you, Nate. Some of the games we mentioned, I like that there's a bunch of big spreads tonight. This is obviously dangerous at times to sort of parlay money lines. There are upsets constantly in the NBA. But with that Minnesota Atlanta spread at what it is, I'm going to take the money line on that, parlay it with the Brooklyn money line. I don't think they're going to lose back to back. They got to figure this out by now. And then the Clippers, that giant spread over the Thunder. I'm scared of all those huge spreads tonight, but I do like all those money lines. You can get all 3 of those games at plus 100, so even money. And then the last thing I'll say is just another quick hit. Phoenix, Denver tonight. If there's no Michael Porter Jr., there's the under would be under 219.5 is the total. I really do like that under without him. There's less points scored and more points given up when Michael Porter Jr. is on the floor for the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm. And some DFS advice for you guys. We mentioned Trae Young. John Collins significantly cheaper than Capella after that outburst. So I would roll with him for value. With Christian Wood out, you got to lock in Victor Oladipo. He has a 50% usage rate in a very small sample. Without them, Boogie Cousins will get some extra run. He's a cheap play. If Tyler Hero is still out, you got to like Kendrick Nunn. Goran Dragic, a solid cash play either way. Malik Beasley and Kevin Huerter are good cash plays to consider in that Wolves-Hawks game. And if you needed a minimum play, the rookie Jaden McDaniels, coming off a strong showing, should see some solid run against the Hawks.
Good stuff. Yeah, we'll be looking out for all that stuff for you guys tonight. As always, if you're liking some of these winners, we're giving you like and subscribe. Jump in the comments. As always, having fun with you guys. We'll be keeping an eye on everything for you guys, and back next week on Monday with another full slate for you guys on the Coast to Coast podcast. Happy betting.